What is up, you guys? This is the Fallout What If You're Here. This is the Fallout What If You're Here. And today I'm going to do the What If for a fourth time. And if you guys are wondering, but Fallout, you haven't been making any videos. True and not true. To be honest, I spent technically 10 hours, if I'm including right now, making What If Issei Was a Vampire, which in the comment section is the one that you all chose, so I will oblige. And yes, I will do it right now. But what had happened was that my phone messed up a couple of times, and I also deleted the video that I was supposed to make on the file, but it was because since I had a brain fart and thought, oh, just delete the video because it's already downloading on the KindMaster, which is basically an app where you get to edit your video, put music on it, or do something else, or put some twists. I thought that by downloading that already, I can delete the file. But I was so dead wrong. So now, for the fourth time, which is my lucky number, so hopefully no mess-ups do occur, here we go. We start off with Issei Hyoto in school, looking around, in the anime protagonist fashion, looking outside the window, seemingly just being happy with his current life right now, as Issei is not the normal boy that we both know and love. The thing about him is that not only is his hair different, which I couldn't find any good picture of him, and that's why I had to resort to using his armor for this video. Not only just his armor, but also his skin is changed as well. From that to being light complexion to being that of a darker complexion. Being he's dark in general. He's technically from his country. He is actually Mexican and Italian, and I'll get to how he got to be there sooner or later. But in this sense, Issei is what you would call Chad from Bleach. He is the one that people do not, that guys do not like, but girls kind of, find as attractive. And because of this, Issei has been getting bullied. This isn't to say that he tries to not defend himself, but he doesn't want to, he really doesn't want to get into any fights or altercations with people due to the fact that he wants to be someone who lives a normal life. Even going so far as to just letting the guys bully him and pick on him. Issei doesn't mind it, to be honest. In fact, it's one of the less harmful things that people have done to him. Now, it isn't to say that some people don't defend Issei, such as Sona Citri, who actually is fond of Issei, thinking that he's actually a kind-hearted person who takes care of people and kind of smart, who thinks that he could be a good addition to the student council. Now, what goes on after Issei's bullying is two people who actually come into contact with the bullies, and one of them being Caddis and Murayama. Either way, Issei is basically thankful that they're trying to protect him, but when, Caddis tried to slam her freaking kendo stick at one of the boys who was bullying her, the door actually got closed because, she forgot to walk in there and accidentally just slapped the stick on the door, causing the stick to bounce and actually hit her in the face. With this, Issei actually is wondering, like, what's going on, and he sees that, Caddis is okay, but then notices that she has a bloody nose. And Issei actually starts to look at her and picks her up and says that we're gonna go to the nurse's office, so hold on tight. And he starts running. And people don't know this, but people started to actually suspect that Issei is actually pretty fit. Sure, he doesn't actually do a lot in gym class, or the fact that he pretty much doesn't show it, but the fact of how fast he was going, he was running like if he was a sprinter, with also holding on to a girl, running with a girl in his arms. They actually suspect that Issei's someone who's physically more capable of stuff than the other students in general. Now, it isn't to say that Issei is, like, strong, due to the fact that in his life, he actually sealed his power away. And because of this, Issei is trying to live a normal life. You guys already may well know that Issei's a vampire, due to the fact that I said it a couple of times. And we will get to that, we will get into that actually right now. Once he actually delivers her to the nurse's office, he starts running away. And he gets into a class that seems to be unoccupied by anybody. And Issei actually crouches down and starts to breathe heavily. And Drake says, were you that out of shape? And Issei says, you already know why. And Drake says, well, come on, partner. You have to understand, weren't you the one that taught me to use more sarcasm when I speak? And Issei says, oh gosh, alright, you big lizard. I need you to, make sure that and nobody's around me. And Drake did tell him that, since nobody is, you could just pretty much take a nap. And I'll basically explain what happened to Issei. You see, during the time when Issei was still in Italy, because that's where he lived, with his father and his mother. Issei, at the time, due to his, vampire state, he had this fascination with blood that he hated. He didn't like it. He actually despised himself because of what he was. And because of this, Drake actually gave him a solution. Offer up his arm, or one of his body parts, so that way he can suppress his vampiric urges, but also to, give him the power in exchange of that, so that way their vampire dragon hybrid form would be different. And you guys are wondering, Fallout, why is it black? Well, it's because his vampiric DNA changed the coloring on his arm. It kind of changed how it looks due to the fact that it fit its host very well. Due to him being a vampire, a creature of the dark, the armor kind of reflects off of Issei. Not willingly, but it still does it nonetheless. And Issei said that has been around 6 years since that happened. But sheesh, I almost tripped. Fudge, oh man, I freaking I stubbed my toe. But either way, Issei is still trying to wonder why is he still feeling it. And Drake just tells him that, your vampire strength, the strength that you have as a vampire will continue to grow stronger and stronger by the passing days, and you should just embrace who you are. Issei says that that's nonsense. I can try to be better. Drake says you don't have enough. You could probably offer up another body, but then how long will it take? How many body parts are you willing to give up until the very end? You either become a vampire or succumb to your vampiric, well, what's it called? You succumb to your vampiric nature, or you just become a dragon, like me. Either way, you will not live a normal life. And Issei says, I know I don't deserve a normal life, but isn't the reason why I want a normal life better than why I don't want to become a vampire? And Drake says you have to let the past go. I know what you've gone through was very painful, and believe me, it's one of the sadder origins. Well, besides any of the other people that I used to host. And Issei just tells him that maybe you're right, but I'm just trying the best that I can. And this is when Drake says, you can only try. But how long will it really take? And Issei says, well, who knows? And after that, he goes on to sleep. Well, a couple of days later, he meets a girl, which her name is actually Rainier. But since she still has a mission, just like in canon, to basically seduce Issei, and just says that she wants him to be her boyfriend. And Issei says, yeah, sure, that'd actually be very wonderful. Issei not knowing that she is one, with Drake coming along and says that you do know that she's a fallen angel. And I detected that off of her for quite a while the moment she started coming up here. Since it's so abnormal to, the other people around this town. Is it a town? I think it's Kuo Town. I never heard of it being called Kuo City. But either way, Issei says that even though that sucks, he still may actually, go out with this girl because she's very nice and she's gentle, she's sweet. And Drake says that you're very naive, that. And Issei says, what do you mean? And this is when he says, look, it may either be because of what you are, or it may also be the fact that you have me, a sacred gear. You should be careful because of the fact that since we don't know who she is or what she wants, she may be out to actually kill you. And this is when Issei kind of weighs it down and says that, well, if I don't go out with her, she'll get suspicious and start tracking me down. And afterwards, she'll track me down to my house and pretty much kill me. Drake says that may be true. But we can also probably do something like kill her. And Issei says, yeah, but I have to find out how to, take care of her without actually killing her. And she says you could just snap her neck. And Drake was telling, while Drake was telling him this, Issei thought of an idea. And it was basically said he had like a family meeting he had to go to. And Drake says, well, what if they know that you don't have a family anymore? And this is when Issei says, do you think we could probably just beat her up or something and probably scare her off that way if she tries anything. And this is when Drake says, "Well, I don't know. I thought you didn't want to be a weird person. You just wanted to be normal." And Issei says, "Gosh, all right, we could probably just, either knock her out or be, hurt her enough to where she's never gonna bother with me again. But we gotta try something." And Drake says, "Well, we could just knock her out, and after that, she'll probably be too embarrassed to even face us, or probably be scared that a human, quote unquote human." And this is when he just looks at him like, "Drake." And yeah. Alright. To do it, we will just have to knock her out. Hopefully that her pride wouldn't be able to handle it, and not tell anybody, thus not trying to search for you anymore. So they go on with the plan. As Issei is getting ready for bed, he tries to go to sleep. But then, he gets these sudden chills while he's sleeping. A time where he was with his mother. And little flashes, oh so little, pop into his head while he was talking to her, laughing, until the day Issei saw her on the floor covered in blood. And Issei woke up again with the alarm clock just buzzing out of control. And Issei just says, "I need to buy another one of these." And this is because he accidentally broke it. But he can't worry about that right now due to the fact that he has a date. And while he's going on, getting on his clothes and stuff, Issei's rocking with pretty much jeans, jacket, and a simple t-shirt with some shoes. And that's pretty much it. They're not gonna go on a fancy date or anything like that. But while that's happening, he does meet up with Rainier, and they are kind of hitting it off right now. And the reason why I say Rainier is because I don't want to keep going on with Amano Yuna or Rainier. They're both the same person. It's just a difference in general with it's just name in general. Now, while Issei is getting up and walking around with her, going actually to the fountain on the afternoon, with her saying the lines of, "Do you know what do you know what Yuna stands for?" I don't know if it's Yuna or Amano. Oh gosh, we'll just say Yuna. And then she says that Yuna means dusk. And afterwards, she tells him that, "I want to commemorate this by telling you one thing. If you can also close your eyes." And Issei says, "Oh, okay, I would, anything you want, miss." And afterwards, he hears the words, "Will you die for me?" And this is when immediately Issei says, "No, I really don't want to die for you." And Rainier kind of said, "What do you mean?" And this is when Issei just grabs her, turns her around as fast as he can, with Yuna actually kind of being shocked for a second. But that second was the thing that Issei needed. He grabs her, doing a rear naked choke. A rear naked choke, wouldn't that be? But he does the rear naked choke, causing her to actually start, gasping for air. But she was about to do something which Issei saw was summoning from one of her hands a spear that looks like it was made out of light. And this is when Issei just swings as hard as he could into Yuna's, Fudge, Rainier's side, caused her to, 1, feel immense pain, but 2, caused her to gasp for air. And with this, Issei is basically taking control of this, knocking her, while, making her go to sleep. And with that, Issei is finally done. And while this is happening, Issei is just like, I didn't kill her, but what if she does come for me? And Drake says, well, if that's the case, then I guess we have no choice but to... This is when Issei just tells him to drop it and that he's going to try to live as normally as he possibly can. Drake says that just because you want to live normal doesn't mean you have to remove that one side of you. You can take that part that you don't like and turn it to your advantage. In the very end, you will be the master of it. It will not be the master of you. That is to say, if you can really handle it. Give me a second here. Well, either way, as Issei decides to just head home, the next day, since he still had no school due to it being a Sunday, well, he actually meets Asia Argento, which most of you all know is the blonde chick who has the ability to heal. Yeah, she basically can heal people. Blonde hair, green eyes, and her sacred gear is known as Twilight Healing. Now, Issei would actually know who she is, as since he lived in Italy, it was actually his childhood friend. And with this, Issei actually helps her up due to the fact that she does fall, and actually wants to know what she's doing over here. Being excited about this, he kind of just says, how have you been, and everything, and this is when he forgets that it's been a long time, so he probably didn't even know if she remembered him or not. But in that instance, Asia actually just tells him that it's good to see him again, and that she misses him. She wished that she had a lot of time. Well, she had a lot of time back then to speak with him, but now they can actually talk. Golly, wow, oh man, did I yell? Now that they actually can talk, he says, well, these two actually start going down memory lane and, oh, how are they doing? What have they been doing in the past? Is there anything else in their life that's, special? Issei actually tells her that he goes to Kuo Academy, and even though, he's not particularly liked by a certain gender, he really doesn't care about that. And he says, like, how have you been? How's the church been? Have the people stopped hating him for some unknown reason? And they really just didn't want to, she really didn't want to say, but she did say that there's some people at the church that said that they could live with her due to their, due to them having the will to accept her into the body of Christ. But in this instance, Issei says, hey, if you want, you can actually chill with me and hang out at my place. Sure, it's not as big as the church, but you can at least have your own room, and really there's nothing, there wouldn't be actually anything bad from you living there. And she says, well, okay, well, if you say so. Issei says, all right, is this all that you have? Like, yeah, I don't have a lot of time to, shop and do all that stuff. Well, you don't have to worry about that. I can just carry this. Well, and this is when he basically grabs one of her panties that, that was still flying in the air. And with her little meek self, just eeps, and after that just says that she can do it. And he says, well, let me at least hold your suitcase for you. It's gotta be heavy. And she says, all right then. But after that, Issei and her go to his place, and he says, "Well, this is my house. Like I said before, not as big as the church, but you can at least live there without any fear of any of your stuff being stolen, or the fact that it does have Wi-Fi, so you can use, technology around here." And she says, "Well, the church, the people said that the church members would provide for me and all that." And Issei says, "What are you talking about? The church hasn't been around since I came to this, town. Heck, the only people that go there are just simple gardeners who, get paid to actually just cut the bushes and, mow the grass." She says, "Well, that's kind of weird due to the fact that they've told me that there will be specific people waiting for me. Issei does find this kind of strange, but he says, "Look, I'll go check it out. Even though the church may not be wrong, it's better not to take any chances." And Asya says, "All right, she'll if that's the case, then it could actually be very helpful to her," and she accepts it. But Issei says, "Since there's a lot of fun places around here, do you want to grab a hamburger?" And this is when she says, "What is a hamburger?" And Issei says, "We're gonna get you a hamburger." And now, with all that being said, Issei and her actually go get something to eat. And Asya actually does get a teddy bear from that. I don't actually know what that is. In the very end, it may be a teddy bear, but Issei still gives it to her because of the fact that she wants it. So Issei is just, having a good little small date with her. And he says, "Yeah, it does kind of remind me of a little date." And she actually is kind of flustered and all this. It says, "Oh yeah, it's it wouldn't be so bad if it's actually good since it's you, but I'm just gonna regret that I said that and also deny that I said that at all costs." But Issei doesn't care about that because his friend is back, and that's what excites him even more. Until nighttime came, Issei decides to just grab a couple of drinks from the convenience store. This is when a couple of people actually show up and start flirting with Asya. Give me a second here. Sorry about that. They're trying to flirt with Asya, and because she doesn't, she doesn't like that, Issei does try to step in after he does, see Asya getting surrounded by a couple of dudes. And these dudes actually happen to be some of the guys from school, with one of them being Matsuda. Now, Matsuda is, how should I say, Motohamura or Matsuda? Matsuda, I think if Matsuda's the one, and if I'm right on this, he is the one that's bald and who speaks in a... He has a different personality than the other people. Yeah, but besides that, he gets upset that Issei is, there and saying what is he doing, and pretty much just saying that he's with his childhood friend, Asya, which ticks him off because of the fact that even a girl like her is with a guy like Issei. It's like no matter what happens, they all just get angry at the fact that Issei's just there. He's there from that time that they all met him during middle school, during the time of high school, because these two actually, these two actually met in high school, no, in middle school in the 8th grade. Matsuda saw him and thought, oh, he's just another one of the guys. But the girls figured out that since he's actually pretty handsome and he's actually kind and not pervy, that's when everything changed. Girls liked him, but not Matsuda. So now you understand. Jealousy is still a thing in this world. But either way, Matsuda is just telling the other guys that we really shouldn't let Issei off the hook. After all, he is the one that has ruined their chances of, finding somebody in school. But what makes them even more angry is when the thing that makes them even more upset is when Issei just tells them that it's because of the fact that you all just think about girls every single time, and instead of doing it the right way and kind of telling them how you feel, you guys decide to purr around, get jealous, or flat out try to be not who you are. Instead, you all fail at this, simultaneously kind of upsetting them due to the fact that you're talking about me as if you're jealous. You don't need to be jealous of me. I'm just like you guys. And Matsuda says, you're full of crap. Because in the very end, we shouldn't be the ones that have to, rely on freaking books and having to, check on the girls in the school. And Issei says, well, that's your loss. This is when one of the guys actually punches him and says, why don't you shut up and learn your place? You're technically the punching bag for us. And this is when Issei just says, look, right now we shouldn't do it. We're off of the school grounds. And Matsuda says, this is actually a perfect time. And this is when he actually opens up and actually has a knife on him and says that we're actually just gonna put a few scars on you. That way the girls probably would think that you look disgusting and all that. And Issei says, this is not something you want to do to me. I am begging you. If you don't put that away, you might get yourselves hurt. And this is when Asuya just says, why don't we all just calm down? And they say, why are they defending a guy like Issei? And she says because Issei was with her during the times of, during her times that she was lonely. And this is when they say, well, if you don't get away, we will hurt you. We will accidentally hurt you. And Issei puts her behind him and just says that you're not going to hurt her at all. Why don't you guys just stop this and go on about your ways? Matsuda actually cuts his slashes him, causing him to, create a mark on his cheek, saying that we're not gonna let you go away unscathed. And this is when they grab Issei and actually they actually cut his his shirt in half, and they actually cut it up a little bit, causing Issei to grunt in pain and saying that he shouldn't let this get to him. And what does go wrong is that Asuya says that they should try to just stop it. But one of the guys actually says, look, why are you with him anyway? You should stick with us. We're pretty cool on our own. We have a lot of stuff we can show you. And Asuya just says, please, just stop. There could possibly be some other way. And, they say that, look, if you do some favors for us, we'll probably stop bullying him. And this is when Issei just, he pulls his arm away from the guy and just pushes him out of the way and says that they shouldn't mess with her at all. It's her friend, and any of you guys that try to hurt her, I'm not gonna let you go until I, make you all bleed. And Issei kind of regretted these words because he didn't want this to happen. Of course, he doesn't want them to bleed. It's gonna be something that will, well, show his true colors if he goes on any further. He tries to apologize, says, "Look, that was wrong of me to say that. Why don't I just apologize and we can just go?" But Matsuda actually kicks him on his leg, causing Issei to feel a bone crack. Issei just goes on one knee, and this is when the guys just start hitting him. And Issei's on the ground and stuff. And this is when Issei just has about enough of this. And pretty much just grabs one of the guy's legs and just flips him up. And afterwards just grabs another guy and starts choking him out while Matsuda is stomping on him. He actually gets upset and stabs at him a couple of times, causing Issei just to black out. And then once he wakes up again, he sees that Matsuda is coming after Asuya, and Asuya just telling him to please stay back. This is when he says, "Are all my wounds healed?" And Drake says, "Yeah." And he says, "Sorry, but I knew you would want to save her instead of using your vampiric powers." And Issei says, "That's not there's no time for that." And he basically grabs freaking Matsuda, pulls him up, and after that does a German suplex, causing him to actually get stabbed on the hand, and says that my hand's bleeding. And actually, while he was waving his hands around, it actually hits Issei's face, causing Issei just to, he starts to have these cravings again. His blood is starting to be tantalizing every time Issei smells it. This is when Issei has to just run away. He runs away as fast as he can with Asuya at hand. And Asuya says, "Are you okay? I thought they actually stabbed you." And Issei says, "Well, I did have I had some extra clothing on me, so maybe that's why." And Asuya at first didn't believe it, but due to him not having actually any marks on him, she just takes it for his word. But she does say, "But what about your cheek? I saw it just got slashed. I saw it got hit, and I saw the blood coming off of it." Issei just says that it must have been your imagination. Asuya says, "All right. Well, sorry." Issei is a vampire, but never told Asuya, despite the fact that Issei was gonna tell her at one point. He really just didn't afterwards because of the fact that she left. And about Asuya, she did leave to go to the church. And it was a bigger church, like I said. So that's the whole thing of Asuya, That's the reason why Asuya went to a different church, and that's why they didn't see each other. And that is the reason why they didn't meet at all afterwards. Now, while they did, stop meeting afterwards, Issei told her to just stay in her room and Issei will just wash up. And the blood on him was still there, and Issei really just wanted to have just a taste. And Drake just tells him to calm down. There's no need to actually go upon this. If you want to stop it, you still have to be in control. And Issei says, "You said sooner or later I won't I won't be able to handle it unless I drink and consume it. And he says, yes, you can basically become a vampire or give me a lot of body parts until the day you become a dragon. Either way, you'll still have a human side to you if you're a vampire. But once you become a dragon hybrid, that part of you never actually goes away. It's something that is even more perplexing the more you're a dragon, because at least in the very end, you can control your nature by just drinking it. A dragon's nature is not one to mess around with. We are prideful in nature. We are strong, cunning, wise beyond our years. But once we are there in a fit of rage, there's no telling how powerful we can truly be. Now, issei, let's calm down. Wipe that blood off your face. Otherwise, you may be craving it. And besides that, you do not want what happened to Asya, you don't want to do to Asya that you did to your... And issei just cuts him off and just tells him, please don't say it. He knows what he's done. He can never live it all. He can never live with it until the day he dies. So when issei is actually going to tell him that school's gonna start tomorrow, so I need to get some rest. And this is when he actually, goes to school and actually talks to Kiba. Because one, Kiba knows who he is. He is technically kind of like him in a sense, but they like his stoic nature and the fact that they're more calmer around issei, due to the fact that you can talk to him and he's pretty down to earth. With Kiba, he's still a member of the ORC, so really he would still be the girls will still be overjoyed when they speak with Kiba. But the fact is that Kiba does call him onto the ORC and says that, hey, Mucho sent me here, so I really need to ask you to come with me. And issei says, what for? Did I do something wrong? And Kiba says, no, I can assure you, you've done nothing wrong at all. This is when issei says, okay, I'll take your word for it. And actually meets Rias. Rias basically is doing the whole scene with the shower. And we all get to see her lovely personality. And believe me, it is a beautiful personality. Anyway, what happens after that is issei goes sit down and actually sees Konako and says, oh, hey, Konako, how you been? And she says, what's up? And basically, issei says that you were eating chocolates again. She says, yep, I like chocolates. And this is when issei says that, well, I do have something right here. And it actually piques her interest. And says, what do you have there? And this is when issei actually says, oh, I have, there's somebody who I know around here that actually sells this, which is known as Dutch chocolates. And also German chocolates. A friend that he knows, because, well, I might as well tell you this as well about issei. Issei actually has a part-time job that he works. And with this, he mostly just spends it on the house and pretty much utilities. Really not a lot on food. That's why he pretty much just gets a small discount over there at work. But there's a guy that knows him and just tells him that, hey, if you want, I can sell you some snacks and, some different kinds of food. Some of them are from different countries, but we have to keep that on the down low. And he's basically a regular kid with, he isn't as regular as people as you may seem. He's kind of a sketchy kind of dude, if you know what I mean. We've all had somebody who was kind of sketchy, but we still like talking to and hanging around with. Now, what goes on is that issei just, he actually gets a little deal with this, and because of it, he actually got 2 chocolate bars. Now, it may not be something to you, but to issei, it's something because of the fact that he does not have a lot of food at home, which kind of sucks, but is the reason why Aussie is there, because of the fact that he knows that Aussie would be tight on money, so he kind of wants to take care of her because he doesn't want her to, be there and not make any money and also just not know the lay of the land as well as he does. So that's the reason. That's one of the reasons why he invited Asya. Well, besides that, and of the fact that these two are friends, childhood friends, might I add. But now, either way, what goes on is issei just gives her the chocolates and says that if you do see some people trying to bully me, if you could just, kindly just tell them not to. And, well, Konako has helped out issei before in the past with some bullying by just, either punching them or being her. And the guys will sometimes be fond of her, to the point where they just give issei a warning, or they just, don't talk to him in general and just stay away from him. But either way, issei does give her the chocolates, and it's kind of a little small deal between them. But without further ado, Akeno senses that there's something with issei, and issei knows that there's something with Akeno. But without further ado, Drake pops in and actually tells him telepathically that they're all devils. Each and every last one of them. From Kiba, the golden child, from Akeno, the beautiful one, from Rias, the, the club leader, to Konako, the mascot. And issei's kind of shocked and kind of scared for a second, saying that, how are all these people right here at the same time? And then he realized that, wait a minute, that one woman, Rainier, did Yuna, Amano Yuna, because he doesn't actually know her name because she's not actually ever said anything. But what happens is that issei just tells her, not her, issei tells Drake, look, is it because of that girl? And Drake, surprisingly says no, because they wouldn't have anything to do with the fallen angels unless it was truly business. Remember, fallen angels, and devils don't actually get along with each other. Not as well as, humans and, other humans. Really, it's just depending on the circumstances and how long they've known each other. And issei says, so what you're saying is that... What I'm saying is that when a fallen angel and a devil would meet, it ends up going along two lines. Three, but that's sometimes, and that's kind of rare. One, the fallen angel will kill the devil. Two, the devil will kill the fallen angel. Three, they just stay away from each other's paths. Or just tell them where they're at, who they are, and possibly either A, let their ranking go, depending on who's going to attack who, and who's merciful enough in battle. Who's merciful enough to not, start that little battle. And Issei actually says, what happens if these two did start fighting? And, well, Drake says, depending on what, you could be starting another war with potentially all three of them. Now, Issei says, how do you know all this? Drake says, I didn't get to tell you this, but I was there at the war when the first ever, holy war happened against the devils, the angels, and the fallen. Yeah, I kind of fought with our rival. And you said the one that was named Albion, right? And he says, at least you listened. Yes. We fought with him. And we both died in the process due to them all joining forces. And to be honest, it was actually shocking that the three of us would actually all wage war. No, the three of them will all wage war on us. And Issei just tells him that, wow, you were actually a bad guy at one point? Drake says, yes, we dragons are prideful in nature, like I told you before. In the end, it was our fault. We have nobody to blame but ourselves. But it does irritate me that these feeble, winged creatures would just attack us in the midst of a fight. If it was me, or if it had to end up between Albion, I would have rather fought them myself. But they decided just to attack us while we were both fighting. I mean, how dare they? And this is when Issei just says, Drake, this is technically your fault. You decided to just, go against World War freaking 3. And this is when Drake says, technically it was the World War 1. It was technically universe against universe against universe. It was between good, evil, and the weird. Issei actually says, oh yeah, okay, that, fair enough. And Drake says, yeah, sorry about that. Besides that, Issei says, so Drake, why are they calling us? And this is when Drake says, as far as I know, they could try to recruit you, due to the fact that they probably sense the power within me. Since I suppressed your powers and your abilities, and only, access them whenever your life is in immediate danger, is mostly due to the fact that having me may have caused them to sense who I was. And due to your arm being a sacrifice for later use, they probably noticed it way more now. Well, due to the fact that you either talked with Koenig or you probably passed up one of them before. Since I don't care to remember stuff, it's probably Konako that knew who you were. And this is when Issei says, alright. And Drake says, wait a minute. It could be another. But I'm not too sure. And Issei says, okay. This is when Rias actually just proposes to Issei about the ORC and actually the joining of them devils. And Issei says, he declines. And she's actually shocked because Issei just said it immediately, causing her to suspect that Issei is not particularly, who he says he is. But Issei just explains that he has a lot of things to do and a lot of people to protect. Not a lot of people to protect. He has people to take care of. And he wouldn't have enough time to join the ORC. And this is when Rias just says, oh, okay. Well, if you do change your mind, you can call us at any time. And Issei just says, oh, a summoning circle. And Rias was like, wait, how does he know that? Well, due to Drake talking a lot, and even that Drake just telling him psychologically what that was, Issei just says, well, thank you, you have a good one, and just runs off. And she says that he must know something about he knows about the supernatural already, but to know what we do and what we have, or to know that that was a summoning circle, not too many humans would know that. And this is when Kiba says, well, he seems to be a normal person. I don't sense anything off of him. But this is when Rias says, well, he'll probably call us either way. Besides, since we did see since we did sense a sacred gear on him, it's safe to assume that we'll meet him regardless. So, that is part one to what if Issei was a vampire. Now, I know that we haven't gone to the whole vampire story just yet, but next episode, we'll actually have it. Now, hopefully you're all doing better than me and having a good day. So this has been the Fallout. What if you're here? This has been the Fallout. What if you're here? Bye.